Recording. Okay, the meeting is being recorded, guys. So here we go. So one of the first questions was, how do I multiply and divide fractions? Okay, multiply fractions, guys. I'm going to start with that first. When it comes to multiplying fractions, guys, listen and listen carefully, okay? First, you want to make sure, guys, you understand you have to cross simplify. Number one, you're going to cross simplify. And when you simplify, guys, you're going to reduce, okay? Cross simplify, cross reduce, not cross multiply, cross simplify, sugar plum, okay? Once you're done cross simplifying, then you're going to multiply straight across, multiply straight across, and then number three, write the simplified fraction, okay? Now, what in the world am I talking about? Let me go ahead and show you guys, okay? The simplified fraction, all right? And guys, once again, I love questions, so make sure you ask questions. If you don't understand something, just drop it in the chat, okay? You can even turn on your mic and chat with me. Just a reminder, when I record, your face doesn't show up, your name doesn't appear anywhere, okay, guys? So here's what I'm talking about. Let's say we have 9/2 multiplied by, that's the multiplication symbol, everybody, okay? Let's do 10 over, I'm making this up as I go along, guys, 15. All right, pay attention. Who was it that asked me to go over the fractions? Okay, you can raise your hand or drop something in the chat and say me, okay? So guys, if we had to multiply, all right, perfect. Thank you, Jasmine. If you had to multiply these two, listen, guys, cross simplify is this, guys. You got to try and simplify the numbers across from each other, like the 10 and the 2, guys, can be cross simplified. The 9 and the 15 can be cross simplified because they're both divisible by some number, okay? So we're going to cross simplify, guys, okay? Not cross multiply, cross simplify. All right, everybody? And when you simplify, what do? You are making something smaller, okay? You are turning it into something smaller. So guys, both 9 and 15 are divisible by what? 3. So 3 goes into 9, how many times? 3 times. 3 goes into 15, how many times? 5 times. Guys, even if you're good with this, you should pay attention because you never know when you might just learn something new, okay? So even if you know this, pay attention to it. All right, guys. Now let's cross simplify the 2 and the 10. 2 goes into 2 once. 2 goes into 10, how many times? 5 times. Now, I don't know if you notice, guys, but you should notice that there's a 5 in the numerator. There's a 5 in the denominator. Those, we can also simplify them. You don't necessarily have to cross simplify. You can just simplify them out, okay? Now, if you don't want to do that, guys, okay? If you don't want to do that, listen, you can just multiply straight across, like I mentioned in the steps. 3 times 5, that's 15. 1 times 5, that's 5. And then, guys, once you get here, you just have to reduce this, okay? Now, guys, look, a fraction is basically a division problem in disguise. Once again, a fraction is a division problem in disguise. So you can actually take 15 divided by 5, and this will simplify to 3. So that's your answer. Now, what is the other way we could have done this? We could have simplified the 5s out because it's 5 over 5. They cancel each other out. So what do you have left over? You have the 3 left over in the numerator, the 1 left over in the denominator. And guys, essentially you have 3 over 1 left over. And what does 3 over 1 simplify to? Just 3. 3 divided by 1 is 3, guys. Okay? That is how you multiply the fractions. So the first thing you need to do, guys, is to go ahead and cross simplify. Then you can multiply straight across and then reduce the problem, okay? Now, I understand when you're taking the Algebra and EOC, there are parts of it where you need to have a calculator, guys. I mean, you can't use a calculator. And there are parts of it where you can use a calculator. So when you encounter a problem like this, okay, and you have to work out a fraction, multiplying fractions in this case, you got to know what you're doing, okay? Jasmine, how are you doing with this? Was this too much for you, or are you good with that? Talk to me, Jasmine. Okay, Jasmine's typing. Okay, very good, Jasmine. All right, guys, listen, I like questions. I understand I'm talking to Jasmine right now because she's the one who asked me to go over this, but I want to make sure everybody understands what's going on. Guys, here's another case, all right? This time we're going to do division. So with division, guys, if I had, let's say, 15 over, I'm just making this up as I go along, over 8 divided by, I'm just making this up as I go along, like I said, 9 over, oh, Shazam, I can't think clearly, guys. Okay, we'll do 9 over 6, okay? It really doesn't matter. When you're doing division, guys, you want to go ahead and do this, guys. You want to keep the first fraction, change your division to multiplication, and then reciprocate or flip the second fraction, and then do your multiplication like we did with the previous problem. Once again, you keep the first fraction exactly like it is, guys. You change the division to multiplication. And then the second fraction, you want to reciprocate it. So you're multiplying by the reciprocal of the second fraction, okay? So now we're back to multiplication again. When you're multiplying two fractions, what do? You are going to have to simplify. How do you simplify? You want to start off by cross simplifying first, okay? Like 3 goes into 15 5 times. 3 goes into 9 3 times. Now the 8 and the 6, 2 goes into 6 3 times. 2 goes into 4. How many times? 2 goes into 8. How many times? 4 times. Now, guys, it just so happens again with this one. You notice there's a 3 in the numerator. There's a 3 in the denominator. We can cancel them out. Guys, this is all about simplifying. I know what some of you are saying, but Miss Alcira, can't we just go ahead and multiply straight across and come up with the answer? Guys, look at what would happen. Listen, if we were to multiply straight across, 15 times 6, do you guys know what 15 times 6 is off the top of your head? That's 90, okay? 8 times 9, what is that? 72. And then you got to sit there and simplify this, guys. Write it in lowest terms, okay? So for me, when it comes to multiplying, dividing fractions, you need to cross simplify. Here's why you cross simplify, guys, okay? Here's why. You want to deal with smaller numbers. It's easier to deal with smaller numbers than larger numbers. 90 over 72, guys, are large numbers to deal with. Unless you're dealing with money, I wouldn't be dealing with very large numbers, okay, guys? So it's easier to cross simplify first when it's possible, and then you multiply straight across, people. Multiply straight across, okay? Oh, I forgot my camera's not on here, okay? Multiply straight across, everybody, straight across. All right. So Jasmine, how are you feeling now, Sugar Plum? Are you feeling a little bit more comfortable with the fractions? Yes, Jasmine? Talk to Miss Officer, Sugar Plum. Jasmine's like, okay, stop calling my name, lady. Okay, so Jasmine, since you said you understand these, do you have any particular questions that you want me to go over? Like something you saw in one of your assignments, maybe you were in class, the teacher was going over it and you didn't quite get it. Do you have something specific you want me to go over with you? Yes, no? Are you typing something for me, Jasmine? No? No, I'm good. All right, Jasmine, listen, I'm here for you to ask some questions. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and talk about some quadratic functions, okay? Let's see how much of this you guys remember from last class. X squared plus 3x plus 2. All right, guys. So now let me see what you guys remember. First, is this graph going to open up or down? Drop it in the chat, guys. If we were to graph this, would it open up or would it open down? Which direction would it open? Come on, guys. I know you got this. Come on. By the way, this was in the video, guys. In the first video I sent out. I dropped the video link in the chat. Nobody's saying anything? Uh-oh, I'm concerned, guys. You forgot how to determine if the graph opens up or down? Somebody, anybody, which direction does this one open if we're to go ahead and graph it? All right, guys, just to recap. X squared, the leading coefficient, guys. The x squared term determines whether the graph is going to open up or down. If it's a positive x squared, it opens up. If it's a negative x squared, it opens down. All right, so this one right here, guys, it's going to open up. Okay, well, guys, I'm concerned. That one was an easy one. All right, here's the next part, guys. So this one right here is going to open up. Now, we need to find the y-intercept. What's the y-intercept from this? Where does the graph intersect the y-axis, guys? What's the y-intercept? Come on, guys, drop it in the chat. Let me see what you remember from last week. Oh, okay. Nobody? Now, the question you should ask yourself is, how do I find the y-intercept? To find the y-intercept, guys, let me give you a hint. You plug in 0 for every single x. Substitute 0 in for every x. So if you plug in 0 for every single x, guys, what do you end up with? What are you left with? Anybody? Nobody? Oh, guys, you forgot completely? I'm shocked. I was ready to move on to something else. Okay, guys, so let's chat about this then. Okay, so to find the y-intercept, guys, you're gonna plug in 0 for every x, all right? And so you get 0 squared plus 3 times 0 plus 2. So this cancels out, leaving you with 2. So there's your y-intercept, guys. We're good? All right, now here's the other way to look at this, guys. If we plug in 0 into this function for every single x, this term cancels out, this term cancels out. So you're just left with the c value, the constant term, okay? The c value, all right? So guys, listen, I'm a little concerned because I thought you guys would have known that one at least, okay? Okay, so here comes another one, guys. Let's find the x-intercepts. Now to find the x-intercept, you take your equation and you set it equal to 0 and factor this, guys, because it's factorable. So guys, let me see if you guys can factor it. X squared splits up into x times x. What are two numbers that multiply to give you 2 and add to give you 3, guys? What are those factors? Oh, you guys know that one. Come on. Guys? Oh, I feel like you guys are not there. Since nobody's answering anything, I have a hard time believing that nobody can answer this one.
2 and 1.
Say it again, Shubham.
2 and 1.
Oh, very good, Rayana. Excellent. Yes, 2 and 1, Rayana. All right, very good. Now, guys, when you get here, you're not done yet. Remember, we're looking for the x-intercept where the graph intersects the x-axis. So now, once you have your factors, you got to set each one equal to 0 and solve. Or ask the question, what number plus 1 will make the first parenthesis 0? What number can I plug in for x to make the first parentheses equal out to 0? What number plus 1 makes the first parenthesis 0? -1. What about the second one, guys? What would the number be? What number plus 2 makes the second parenthesis 0? Oh, very good, Jasmine. Very good. X equals 2, -2. Excellent. All right, guys. So those are some of the problems that you will encounter on the Algebra 1 EOC. Now, the other thing is this, guys. You need to know the terms, the terminology, okay? Let me go ahead and erase this. For the terminology, guys, okay? Y-intercept, that's a good term to know. That's where the graph intersects the y-axis. Then you've got your x-intercept, where the graph intersects the x-axis. Now, we just figured them out, and they are -1, -2. Now, guys, these are also referred to as the solutions. The x-intercepts are referred to as the solutions. Same thing as the roots or the zeros, okay? Roots, zeros, solutions, x-intercept, they all mean the exact same thing. Basically, what are the answers, guys? The answers to the quadratic. All right. So since you guys needed a little bit of help with that one, I am going to present you with another quadratic, okay? And we're going to go through it. Let's see how well you guys do with this one right here. It is f of x is equal to -x squared and minus 4x, okay? And let's go ahead and do +5, guys, +5. Okay, guys, so here's the first question. Which direction is this one going to open? Up or down? Which direction? Oh, yes, Jasmine, very good. It's going to open down. Excellent. Now, guys, the y-intercept. What's the coordinate of the y-intercept? 0, comma. You guys drop it in the chat. What's the y-intercept? Come on, guys. You can do this. I know you guys can do this. Come on, people. How do we find the y-intercept? How do I find the y-intercept? I plug in 0 for every x in the problem, and that'll give me the y-intercept. So what's the y-intercept, everybody? Drop it in the chat. Oxidine, how you doing? Ross, how you doing? Ember. Isabella, how you doing? Jaden. Keenan, how you doing? LP's iPhone. Okay, LP. Rihanna, how you doing, sweetie pie? It seems like Jasmine is the one answering all the questions. Kaylin. Okay, guys, raise your hand if you don't understand how to find the y-intercept. Raise your hand for me. If you don't know how to do this, raise your hand. Do you guys know how to raise your hand on here? No? Okay, use the reaction. Sorry, I'm not answering. I have a headache. Okay, Amber, that's okay. All right. Now, in the reaction, guys, give me a thumbs up if you understand. In the reaction, give me a thumbs up if you understand how to find the y-intercept. Okay. Shanibi said 5, maybe. Now, Shanibi, remember, we need to work on the confidence level. Even when you're wrong, Sugar Plum, say it with confidence, okay? Say it with pride, okay? This is the answer, period. Yes, Shanibi, yes! Very good, very good. I loved how you say it. Okay, very good. All right. Shanibi says 5. Okay, I wonder if my dogs are getting in trouble. Hold on, guys. Hold on a second. Okay, guys, I gotta go get the dogs. Hold on. Okay, they're back, guys. They're back. Okay, stay here, guys, okay? All right. So, excellent, Shanibi. It is 5, all right? How do we get it, guys? Here's how we find the y-intercept. We go ahead and plug in 0 for every single x in this problem. So if you plug in 0 for every single x, guys, this term cancels out, this term cancels out, and what are you left with? 5. And just like that, guys, you have your y-intercept. That's how you find the y-intercept, guys, okay? And don't be afraid of being wrong, guys. It's okay to be wrong. You can learn from your mistakes. Absolutely, okay? So the y-intercept for this one is 0, 5. Now, let's go ahead and find the x-intercepts, guys. Let's find the x-intercepts. For the x-intercepts, I've got negative x squared minus 4x plus 5. I'm going to set this equal to 0. Now, guys, listen to this one. Listen to this. When you're dealing with these quadratics, it's not a good idea to solve a quadratic that has a negative x squared. So what I'm going to do, rather than working with a negative x squared, I'm going to multiply everything by -1 so I can have a positive x squared. So when I multiply -1 times negative x squared, I get positive x squared. -1 times negative 4x gives me positive 4x. And then -1 times 5 gives me -5 equals to 0. Oh, Shanibi, you got the answer already? Okay, I see you, young lady. I see you. Let me see if they're correct. Hold up a second. Let me double check. Oh, Shanibi, I see you. All right, Shanibi's got this. All right, guys. So now that your equation looks like this, let's go ahead and factor. Shanibi already got the answer, guys, okay? She certainly did. Let me see. You guys can't see it, but I can definitely see it, and she's got the correct answer. All right. Anybody else thinks they have the correct answer? Drop it in the chat. Okay, guys, let's factor. So x squared splits up into x times x, and then you have to find two numbers that multiply to give you a -5 and add to give you a +4. Here, let me use a different color. They add to give you +4, multiply to give you -5. So what are those two numbers? That multiply to give you -5, add to give you +5. Now be careful, guys. Those two numbers are going to be 5 and 1, but one needs to be a negative, one needs to be a positive. So the question is, which one is negative, which one is positive? The larger number takes on the sign of the middle factor. Since 5 is larger, 5 is going to be positive, and 1 will be a negative. All right? So now, guys, ask the question. What number plus 5 makes the first parenthesis 0? -5. What number minus 1 makes the second parenthesis equal to 0? +1, guys. And there's your answers. Those are your x-intercepts. Those are your roots. Those are your zeros, guys. Yes, those are your solutions, sugar plums. So you need to know the terminology, not just how to do the work. You need to know the terms so that when you see the problem and the problem says, find the roots, find the solutions, find the zeros, you'll know exactly what they're talking about, guys. You'll know. All right, everybody. Now, let me move on to something else. Using this same equation right here, x squared, -x squared minus 4x plus 5. All right, guys, let's talk about the vertex. Let's talk about the vertex. Okay, now, remember the vertex, guys, is the turning point of the graph. And this one right here is opening downwards. So the vertex would be at the turning point right here, okay? So first, we need to find the x value of the vertex. To find the x value of the vertex, we're going to use the formula, the opposite of b over 2 times a. So for this one right here, guys, the a value is the number in front of x squared. So that's equal to -1. The b value is the number in front of x. That's equal to a -4. So now you're going to go into the formula, guys, and substitute. Now, when I say the formula, sugar plums, I like to say the opposite of b. Since my b is already negative, when I do its opposite, it's going to become a +4. Shanibi, what? I've been found because I knew. Let me see here. Oh, look at you. I knew you were going to ask. Oh, Shanibi. Oh, wow, you're reading my mind, girl. Wow, look at you. I love it. I need more like you in class. Okay, awesome. So she's like, listen, I knew you were going to ask for it, so I already have the answer. So let's check your answer, Shanibi. Of course you're right. I know you're right, okay? So guys, over 2 times the value of a. What's a? -1. So let's work it out. 2 times -1 is -2. 4 divided by -2 gives you a -2. So that's the x value of the vertex, guys. So use this little formula here to find the x value. And then once you find the x value, you're going to take the x value, guys, and plug it back into the equation to find the corresponding y value, to find the value of the function, guys. So guys, here we go. We're gonna go ahead and plug it in. It's gonna be f of -2. Wherever you find an x, guys, plug it in. It's -2 squared minus 4 times -2, okay? And guys, learn to do these without a calculator, because remember, there are some problems on the test where you cannot use a calculator. So guys, let's look. -2 squared, that's +4. You see how I carried down this negative over here, guys? I carried it down, okay? Be careful. All right, -4 times -2, that's +8, guys. Axis is, oh, Shanibi, hold on a second. Okay, girl, I see you. Okay, and then +5, guys. Now we're gonna add them. We're gonna add everything together. So -4 plus 8, and that's gonna be +4. 4 plus 5 gives you 9. And yes, guys, Shanibi was right. She was absolutely right. I love it, Sugar Plum. I love it, love it. All right, so now, guys, we have our vertex, which is located at -2. Oh, Shanibi, I wonder if you're going to know the other question I'm going to ask Shanibi. You know there's another question coming up, Shanibi. Okay, -2, comma 9. That's the vertex, guys. Now, here comes the next part. And Shanibi already figured this one out too, guys, but I have to go over it with you. And that is the axis of symmetry, guys. The axis of symmetry goes straight through the middle of the graph, intersects the graph at the vertex. And because it's a vertical line, yes, Rihanna, I see you, girl. Okay, Rihanna, I got you. Rihanna says, I got this too. Axis of symmetry is going to be an equation, guys. The equation is always in the form of x equals 2. And guys, you have to have that x equals 2. If you don't have that x equals 2, it's going to be wrong, okay? So guys, since it shares it goes through the vertex, intersects the graph at the vertex, it shares the same x value with the vertex. So since the vertex has an x value of -2, the axis of symmetry is also x equals to -2. So make sure, guys, when you write it out, it's in the form of an equation. It has to be an equation. X equals 2, whatever the x value of the vertex is, okay? So now, guys, listen to this part, okay? Here's the next part. I hope you guys are paying attention and learning, okay? Because I love it when my students are learning. Pay attention to this next part, guys, okay? Now, here's the next question, Shanibi. Does this one have a max or min value? Does it have a max or does it have a min value? Yes, Brianna. Brianna says, I got this. I got this. It's a max value. When your graph is opening down, guys, when your graph is opening down, the highest point, you see that? We're going up, up. Once we get to that high point right here, sometimes we refer to this as the apex. Once we get to the apex, okay, I'm trying to write it down here for you guys. The apex is the highest point. Then it turns around and starts heading back down, okay? So guys, the highest point on the graph is referred to as the maximum, okay? Now, be careful. The maximum is the y value at the vertex. So if they were to ask you, what is the maximum value? The maximum value would be at +9, y equals to 9, okay? At 9, or at y equals to 9, guys, okay? So you've got a maximum point at the vertex, guys, okay? So when the graph is opening down, Jasmine, you have a maximum. But if the graph is opening up, let's say you had a graph like this, Jasmine, okay? You would see the bottom of the graph, the lowest point on the graph is right there. And the lowest point on the graph would represent a minimum, okay? So when you got a valley, that's a minimum. When you got a peak, it's a height, okay? It's a high, we call that a maximum. So the peaks represent the minimum, the maximum, and the valleys represent the minimum. Peaks, maximum, valleys, minimum. Okay, guys? Any questions? Okay, now, here's the next part, guys. This is brand new because I was speaking to your teacher, Miss Patterson, and Miss Patterson's like, Miss Alcira, they need help with this one component. So that's what I'm going to address with you guys right now. Okay. She said to me, they understand domain. Okay. Does anybody remember what the domain for this one is going to be? Anybody know?
All real numbers.
Very good, Sugar Plum. All real numbers. Very good. Okay. But she said, Miss Alcira, they don't understand how to find the range. Anybody want to take a guess at the range? By the way, the range has to do with the y's. The domain has to do with the x's. Anybody want to take a guess at the range? You see, she was right. She was right. Okay, let's talk about the range, guys. The range is the vertical part of the graph. The lowest y value on the graph up to the largest possible y value on the graph. Listen to this, Jasmine. The range is the max or the min. Okay, you've got part of it right, Jasmine, okay? Listen to this, Jasmine. The range is the vertical part of the graph. That's the y values, okay? It is the lowest y value, okay, up to the largest possible y value. So yes, you're right, Jasmine, in the sense that at the maximum, you have the largest possible value for y, okay, at the maximum. But then what happens with all the y values once they reach the maximum, guys? Are they going to get smaller or are they going to get larger than 9? You hear the question? So once you get to the maximum, what's going to happen with the y values? Are the y values going to be less than the 9 or are they going to be greater than the 9? Are they going to be smaller than 9, lower than 9, less than 9, or are they going to be greater than, larger than, bigger than the 9? Are they going to be above the 9 or are they going to be below the 9, guys? All the y values, answer that. Are they above the 9 or below the 9?
Hello.
Below, okay? So guys, this would be your range. Everything less than or equal to 9. Notice it's equal to because 9 is on the graph. That's your range, guys. Okay? So I hope that makes sense to you guys. And so I am going to do, let me see, where am I? Oh, it's already 5:55, guys. I'm probably just going to do 2 more examples with you guys, and then I am going to be done. Now, the standard form. I don't know if you guys have seen the standard form, but I'm going to show it to you anyways, guys. Sometimes I like to refer to it as the vertex form. And why do I call it the vertex form? Because, guys, you can eyeball the problem and figure out the vertex, okay? So, guys, here we go. Negative parentheses x plus 1 squared, and then minus 2 sugar plums. All right. Now, have you guys seen this form before? This is still a quadratic. How do you know it's a quadratic? Because we got that power in there, guys. It's still a quadratic, but this is a different form. What kind of form is this? This is the standard form, which I like to refer to as the vertex form. Let me know if you've seen this before, guys. Hit the reactions and give me a thumbs up if you've seen this before. Anybody? You guys haven't seen this before? Oh, well, I don't want to talk about it and you guys haven't seen it before. You know what? Let me just mention one thing. Let me just mention one thing, okay? Well, maybe a couple of things. Oh, Shanibi said, yes, I have. Okay, so the rest of you have been sleeping in class, I see. No, I'm just teasing you guys. Okay, so guys, listen, same type of questions. Which direction is this one going to open? Is it going to open up or is it going to open down? The leading coefficient, look in front of the x squared, okay? The leading coefficient in front of x squared. Where's the x squared? Is the x squared going to be positive or is it going to be negative?
Negative.
All right. It's negative, guys. So is it going to open up or is it going to open down? According to this, it's going to open down. All right, Rihanna? That's all you need to look at. Once it's in this form, you look at the sign in front of the x squared term. That's always the case. Look at the sign in front of the x squared term. I know, Miss Alcira, what if there's no sign there? If there's no sign, that means it's a positive, okay? All right, guys. So now here's the next question, okay? Let me see those of you who said, oh, I got this, I've seen this before. What's the vertex? What's the corner of the vertex? Those of you who said you got it. What's the vertex? Drop it in the chat for me. If you've seen this form already, you should know. What's the vertex coordinate? Nobody's saying anything. All right, guys. So, oh no, Jasmine. Okay, Jasmine, listen. Okay, you ready, guys? Remember how when we first looked at vertex last week, we said it was H comma K, H comma K. That's because, guys, once you have your equation in standard form, you can just eyeball the equation. If it's in standard form, A times X minus H squared plus K. And the vertex, guys, notice right here, the vertex is H comma K. That means that they're taking the H from inside the parentheses and the K outside the parentheses. Here's the catch, guys. Here's the catch. You have to do the opposite of what's inside the parentheses, okay? So it's the opposite of what's inside the parentheses, comma, the number on the outside. So let me, Salsira, show you. The opposite of the number inside the parentheses, so -1, comma, the number on the outside, guys. So the number on the outside is -2. You don't have to do any work. That's why I like calling this the vertex form. You can just look at the problem, guys, and tell what the coordinate of the vertex is. You don't have to do any work, sugar plums. You see that? No work, okay? Does that make sense, sugar plums? Okay, I feel like you guys are a little lost, okay? But let me go ahead and finish this out, and then I will go ahead and show you one more, guys, one more, okay? Because I don't like to just give one example of this and it doesn't make any sense to you. All right, guys. So the vertex is at -2, or -1 comma -2. Quick question, guys. What's the axis of symmetry? What's the axis of symmetry? I'm going to help you out. X equals 2. Very good. Oh, look at that. There's a couple people. Oh, I love it. You guys are getting it. Liana and Jasmine, they jumped in there. Yes, sugar plums, it's -1. X equals to -1. Remember, it's the X value of the vertex. Okay, guys, here's another big question. Is this one going to have a maximum or minimum value? Maximum or minimum? Oh, come on, guys, you should get that one. Oh, you guys kill me. Oh, come on, guys. Which direction is it opening? It's opening down. So if it's opening down, guys, the graph is going to look like this, sugar plums. Oh, look at Rihanna. Rihanna's like, next! I love it, I love it. Yes, Rihanna, max, okay. So you're going to have a maximum, guys, at the vertex. It's a max, guys, okay? Because it's opening down. All right. So now, okay, guys, you know the next question that's coming up. I know you know the next question that's coming up, and that is, what is the range? What is the range, guys? What's the range? I'm going to help you out. Y is, you guys tell me. What is the range, guys? What's the range? What's the range? Come on, sugar plums. Either type it in there or turn on your mic and tell me. Less than or equal to -2. Rihanna, great. Anna, you got this, young lady. You got this. Less than or equal to -2, Rihanna. everything below -2. -2 is the largest, the highest, the greatest y value on the graph. So then that means that since it's the largest y value on the graph, everything else, all the other y's have to be less than -2. All right, guys, I'm gonna do one more, and then I will be done. By the way, guys, tell all your friends who don't understand this stuff, okay? The ones that you speak to, even the ones that you don't speak to, once I drop the video, tell them to go watch the video. Go towards the end of the video so they could look at how to determine the range. All right, guys, this is the last one I'm doing with you. F of x is equal to, pay attention, sugar plums. Okay, here it is. X plus 2 squared minus 3. All right, guys. First question, which way is it going to open, sugar plums? Oh, Rihanna's on top of this, guys. Rihanna says it's going to open up. Hopefully everybody should know by now. You look at the coefficient of x squared. Look in front of the x squared, guys. If it's positive, Jasmine says it's up. If it's positive, it opens up. If it's negative, it opens down. All right, guys, here comes the next question. What is the coordinate of the vertex? This is like the review, the exit ticket before you leave. Oh my God, Rihanna, I think you're on fire tonight, sugar plum. Shazam, Rihanna's like, I'm on this, I got this, -2, -3, excellent. So you do the opposite of what's inside the parentheses, guys, comma, the number on the outside, okay? All right, you guys know the next question that's coming up. What is the axis of symmetry? It has to be an equation in the form of x equals to the x value of the vertex. And Shanivi says, yes, I got this. It's -2. I love the confidence that you guys are exuding. You ladies are exuding. Because the guys are not even answering. I know there are some guys in here, but you guys are not answering at all. Who's a guy in here? I don't want to mess up anybody. Keelan, are you a guy? I'm not quite sure who's a guy or who's not. It looks like I have a whole bunch of young ladies in here. Oh, who's a guy in here? Okay, fine. Don't answer that. All right. So guys, next question. Okay, here it goes, guys. Does this one have a maximum or minimum? Maximum or minimum? Ooh, Anna girl. Ooh, Shanibi. Ooh, you guys are on fire. Minimum. Now, I'm not going to sketch out the graph, okay? I'm not sketching out the graph. What's the minimum value, guys? Remember, it's the y value, okay, of the vertex. What's the minimum value? Very good, ladies, -3. Okay, so now, guys, what's the range? Oh, you guys knew that was coming. What's the range? Remember the questions I asked you guys, okay? It's a minimum, guys. As in, that is the lowest. Oh, girl, you almost got it, Jasmine. Just one little thing you have to add Jasmine. Okay, Jasmine, just add one tiny little thing. Now, Shanibi, you have to actually type it in as an inequality. You have to do an inequality. Jasmine, you're missing just one little thing, okay? But Rihanna, you got it, girl, you got it, okay? Since -3, guys, is the lowest y value on the graph, everything else must be above the -3, bigger than -3, greater than -3, greater than or equal to sign. I love it, Jasmine, I love it. Jasmine's like greater than or equal to sign, okay? Fill that in there for me. Yes, guys, the range would be everything greater than or equal to -3. Everything above the -3, guys. So when you graph it, the graph looks like this. And over here is your vertex. That's your minimum value. So everything greater than or equal to -3. Now, when you get into like my Algebra 2 class, you get into college algebra, guys, They want you to write this in interval notation. Interval notation is another way for you to express these inequalities, but we're not talking about this in this class. So I hope you guys learned something. And once again, if you know of friends that might need this information, that might need to learn it, guys, tell them that there's a video. You can send them the link, because I'm going to send you guys the link. All you have to do is tell them to go ahead and watch the video towards the end, and they will learn how to find the range, how to find the max, how to find the min, how to find the axis of symmetry, the vertex, and so forth and so on, guys. So before I let you go, do you guys have any questions for me? Anything? Nothing? You guys are good? Oh my goodness. I hope you learned something, everybody. I hope you learned something during this session. So until next time, everybody, bye. Have a good one. I will see you next Tuesday, everyone. If you want to come in, oh, which reminds me, there was somebody else who asked to add them to this session for this afternoon, and I totally forgot, guys. I totally